Best Computational Fluid Dynamics, CFD, and its services. Computational fluid dynamics is a mathematical process of modeling of a physical phenomenon that involves flow of a fluid and also includes solving it numerically by applying computational prowess. Whenever a task is given to the engineering to design a new product, let's say, a race car for the next Grand Race Championship, then one thing that plays a great and a major role in it is aerodynamics. Processes that are involved in aerodynamics are not easily quantifiable during the phase of the conceptualization. The best way for the engineer to recognize and optimize its design is to try and test it in the physical format with different prototypes for the same product. Now, in this advanced world in which new technologies are coming every day, the use of computational power and fluid dynamics has increased a lot over the last few years. Nowadays, it is a common tool for the generation of new solutions for the fluid flows either with solid interaction or not. In CFD software analysis, an examination of flow of fluid which is related with fluid flow with its physical properties like velocity, viscosity, temperature, pressure is conducted. Usually a mathematical model of the cases that are in physical format is used in the CFD software so as to analyze the flow of the fluid. Now, let us look up at the history of computational fluid dynamics. History of CFD. If we break down the history into years so as to understand it better then. Till 1910, some improvements were done in the mathematical and in numerical methods. Between 1910 to 1940, to generate numerical calculations that were based on hand calculations, integration of methods as well as models was done. From 1940-50, transition was made to computer-based calculations. From 1950-60, initial study was done by using computers so as to model the fluid flow that is based on the Navier-Stokes equations. 1960-70, between this year the very first scientific paper named Calculation of Potential Flow about Arbitrary Bodies was published. It was related to the analysis of computers in 3D. 1970-80, between this year codes were generated by Boeing, NASA and different organizations and they also started to use these codes to yield ships, submarines, automobiles, aircraft etc. Presently, many developments are being made in this sector. There are some equations in this process which are known as governing equations. They are, governing equations of CFD. There are three main governing equations, one equation for conservation of mass i.e. continuity equation. 2. Equation for conservation of momentum i.e. second law of Newton. 3. And third, equation for conservation of energy i.e. energy equation or also known as first law of thermodynamics. What is mesh convergence? Well, meshing is a process in which discretization of domain to tiny cells is done so as to apply the mathematical formulas or models that are at linearity depending on each and every cell. According to the requirement, finer meshes are required in the areas where physical properties are predicted. Convergence. It is considered as a great and a major issue in the field of computational analysis. Liquid movement is a nonlinear movement and has nonlinear and complex mathematical models like phase change, turbulence, mass transfer, as well as convergence. Applications of computational fluid dynamics. Some of the important applications of CFD in engineering are, laminar and turbulent flow, compressible and incompressible flow, mass and thermal transport,